In this example, we're trying to build an equation, and the only pieces of information I have are the facts of what the specific points that it goes through, 1, 2, and -3, -2. Okay, let's see what we can work with this. Well, no matter what, whether I choose to go y equals mx plus b, or I choose to use y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, either way I choose, no matter what, I have to have the slope. And we have a formula in order to find slope through 2 points. It's the difference in the y's that rise, so 2 minus a -2, being careful to make sure I get all my negatives in there, over the difference in the x's, so 1 minus a -3. So this will give me a slope of 2 plus 2, which is 4, over 1 plus 3, which is 4. Okay, so we have a slope of 1. We're on our way. So what I can choose to do, since neither one of these points are a y-intercept, then technically what I would do is pick one of those points, let's say 1, 2, and I would take my slope of 1 and I would use slope-intercept form, or the point slope form. So I'd go y minus that y value of 2 is equal to m times x minus the x value. So y minus 2 is equal to x minus 1. Move that over. So we're going to add 1. And you're going to get this line, the equation, y equals x. Simple as that. And there's your answer. Okay, and like I said, if you want me to show you guys how to do this using just the slope-intercept form every single time, again, start with your point. So the y value there is 2 is equal to m times x plus b. So 2 is equal to 1 plus b. I move that over. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that I had a little issue. Why I changed that 2 over here on this left to a 1, I have no idea. Let me keep that over 2. Let's add 2. So if I add 2, isn't it nice to always go back and have to check? A -1 plus 2 would leave me with a plus 1. Okay, that's the answer. Whew. Okay, now back over to the right to get to b by itself. -1, -1. So 2 minus 1 is 1, and 1 equals b. So putting it together with my slope, y is equal to mx plus b. And there's your answer either way you want to go about it. All right, so let's try example 7 and keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we won't just randomly mess up like I did this last time. We want to write an equation for a line that's going to go through a point 2, 4. Again, not the y-intercept, so just any general point. But what we know is the fact that it's got to be perpendicular to this other line. 3x plus 4y minus 22 equals 0. Okay, well, no matter what, I have to have a slope. And this whole part about this equation or this problem telling me that I'm perpendicular to another line, I can get my slope because I know it's going to be perpendicular to this other line. So let's start here. I've got 3x minus 4y plus 4y minus 22 equals 0. Let's get the slope. Because if we can find the slope of this line, then I know the slope of the one I'm trying to create. It's got to be perpendicular, so it's got to be opposite and reciprocal. Okay, so let's move. We don't need the 3x on this side. We don't need the 22. So I just get 4y, negative 3x plus 22, and go through and let's divide by 4. So y is equal to a negative 3x over 4 plus, let's say, 11/2. Don't really care about that back number because here all I want to do is just find the slope off of this line. If I take away the x variable, then the slope is everything that's left over that was attached to that. So it's not just the negative 3, but it's the negative 3/4. Just go to the term that had the x with it and imagine like if you took it away, just like what I did. I just scratched it out. Whatever was left sitting there, that is technically all of your slope. Okay, so that's the slope of the line over here that we're perpendicular to. So if we have to be perpendicular to this slope, then our slope, our perpendicular slope, is the opposite, so now it's positive, and then reciprocal, so 4/3. So the line we're trying to create has a slope of 4/3, and it goes to the point 2, 4. Okay. Well, I'm just going to do point slope form. So y minus that y value is equal to my slope. So 4/3 times x minus 2. So y minus 4 is equal to 4/3 x minus 4/3 times 2. Just multiply the whole number to the top. So it'll be 8/3, just like that. All we have to do is finish this up is move the 4 over. So y is equal to 4/3 x minus 8/3 plus 4. Okay, so y is equal to 4/3 x minus 8/3 plus 12/3. And as a final answer, we'll say 4/3 x and 12 minus 8 is a positive 4/3. Okay. Now, just kind of as a little disclaimer, there might be an answer in the back of the book that's a little off from this, but just know that this is totally fine leaving your answer like this. They might have something like negative 4x plus 3y is equal to 4. And what they did is they went through and eliminated the fractions by multiplying everything through by 3. And then after that, when they were finished, they moved both variables onto the same side of the equal sign. I really don't care about this. By the time you get to this step right here, I am happy, content, we are good to go. So just know that your answers from here might differ just a little bit from the back of the book. Okay? And last but not least, I wanted to bring up one little topic, is that when you go through all this work here on the left, that was written here in blue, and you find your slope, the negative 3/4. Now, to get the perpendicular slope, we did the opposite and we did the reciprocal, so we did 4/3. Remember, you can't just write your answer. You just can't go, okay, y equals 4/3 x, and then pick up that y value right there and say plus 4. I see so many people doing that every single time. And you can't do that because you need to make that connection of, is this point the y-intercept? If that was a 0 sitting right there and not a 2, then you're done. You can say plus 4 and call it quits. But you don't have the y-intercept. You can't do that, okay? So please, 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 just promise me that you guys will never, ever do that. You need to go through, when in doubt, go through point slope form. When in doubt, okay? You'll always get the correct answer if you go through point slope form. Every single time you'll get the correct answer, okay? All right, let's go on to example 8. Here we want to write an equation for a line. Our line's going to have to go through the point -5, -4. And what we know is it's parallel to a second line that goes through these 2 points. So just like we did in example 7, the only other thing we're going to use this other line for is just to find its slope. So let's just find the slope through this. And since we're parallel, this time we're going to use the exact same answer we get from this one. So m is equal to the difference in the y's. So 2 minus 8 over the difference in the x's, -3 minus 6. So 2 minus 8 is -6. -3 minus 6 is a -9. So reducing this out, a negative over negative is positive 2/3. Okay, and let's take that information. It says we're going to be parallel, so I'm going to say m parallel is also going to be exact the way it was, the 2/3. If it said perpendicular, then we would use a -3/2, but we're parallel. So our slope is 2/3, and we have this point -5, 4, and -5, -4, I'm sorry. And like I said, no matter what, when in doubt, just go to point slope form every single time. So y minus that y value is equal to the slope, x minus the x value. So y plus 4 is equal to 2/3 times x plus 5. Okay, and just keep getting y by itself, so 2/3 x, and right here we're going to do a whole number to a fraction. Whole number is going to go only to the top, so it's 10/3. Let's just subtract 4, move that over, so y is equal to 2/3 x plus 10/3 minus 12/3. Because 4 is 12 over 3. So y is equal to 2/3 x minus 2/3. And there is my overall answer. And again, what might be in the book instead is something like, let me see if I can quickly do this. -2x plus 3y is equal to -2. And this really is the exact same thing as that. It's just written in a different form. That's all it is. It's just kind of cleaned up a little bit. I don't care. We can go with the box answer for sure.